The top stories: Prosperity Party has unveiled its election manifesto and candidacy for the 6th national election. The victory of Adwa refutes the wrong narratives by the Europeans that Africa was not civilized. And Ethiopian runner Gudaft Agai confirms top shape in Val de Ruil after fantastic performances in Lievan. Hello and thank you all for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. Prosperity Party has unveiled its election manifesto and candidacy for the 6th national election in the presence of the party's president, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed. Prosperity Party's 6th national election is the symbol of the election and the manifesto of the party. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said that the party's election symbol is a beacon of hope and a sign that it is possible to move towards prosperity in the face of adversity. Kasahun Jani has more.
The unveiling of election manifesto and its logo of Prosperity Party at the forum today. Under the theme Multinationalism, Brotherhood for Common Prosperity is a remarkable step to compete for 6th national election. The event has highlighted Prosperity Party of today and tomorrow that has facilitated and brought together millions of Ethiopians with membership in Born Change, is committed to change and shines a light of hope. Announcing the party's election manifesto, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said the party's election symbol is a light of bulb and that indicates the nation is moving from darkness to light.
This manifesto of prosperity is not a contract but a promise. The policy document is not an essay. The Prosperity Manifesto is a pact between the people and the party, not a contract. It is not a contract between us and our people. It is a covenant between us and our people. Promise and contract are two different things. Because the contract is based on bilateral agreement, when one fails to do so, it falls apart. But a covenant is based on mutual commitment. One is weak, the other is helpless, and it requires participation of all. This covenant is based on the commitment and service of every member of Prosperity. It is a place where we can deliver the Ethiopia we want to our generation in collaboration with our people.
This document is not an essay. Many are writing essays, but a policy cannot be an essay. Manifesto is not an essay. It's not a one-year affair. It's a document that we go to for our commitment, including extensive data collection, analysis, and lessons learned. So far, a month or two, just saying that I have a policy. It doesn't make sense. The policy should be prepared as a document, not an essay. Prosperity does what it says. It ends with this beginning. We have shown this in the past big projects, and we kept our word. This is exactly what happened at the Renaissance Dam, and we have made good progress so that the people can see the light because they need light.
According to the Prime Minister, the party can transform the country to the desired prosperity only when it works day and night with the people. Adding they will work hard as a prosperous party.
The 6th national election, though the policies and strategies are put here in the manifesto very clear, our basic desire is conducting the election freely and democratically that enables Ethiopia and Ethiopians a winner in the election. That means peaceful, democratic, and where every citizen could participate, and must be based on the high ideals to win and come to power.
Prosperity Party President Abiy Ahmed further pinpointed that his party is committed to make the 6th national election free, fair and democratic, and conveyed a message that the party is committed to this and other parties to follow the same commitment.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, accompanied by senior government officials, presided over the commencement of construction of the 110-kilometer Ambo-Gudar and Shannan-Sayuyi Road project. The federal government has allocated 4.6 billion birr for the construction of the project. Haptam Washagwe tells you more.
Long been neglected in having basic access to development infrastructures due to many reasons, and this has been one of sources of grievances against ruling elites. As a case in point, access to main roads in part of Wallagga, Dawn of the Oromia region, is below expectations. Taking this into consideration, the Ethiopian Roads Authority has taken steps to respond to basic demands of the public. The inauguration of roads in Dambidolo and the commencement of road construction in Ambo-Gudar and Shannan-Sayuyi are practical steps for the public causes. The Ethiopian Roads Authority witnesses the 18-kilometer gravel road in Sayo-Gudar-Shannan and the 91-kilometer Ambo-Gudar asphalt roads were not conducive to the localities in the region. Hence, activities are being commenced to renovate 110-kilometer roads into concrete asphalt level with an outlay of 4.6 billion birr. Speaking on the launching ceremony, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said the roads play a significant role to expand urbanization in the country.
Dandin Amboti gara Gudar deemu.
If we are promoting Wonchi and Dandi to the world, Ambo can be advantageous like New York.
The Premier added efforts are well underway to integrate regional states and towns.
Gambella, Ilubabor.
It is better to go through Dambidolo, Gimbi, Nekamt and Ambo rather not to say to go through Gambella, Ilubabur, Bedele and Jimma. We can go into Gojam or Addis Ababa from Wallagga. It is better to go through Geddo, Shambu, Bure. We are alertly working to realize this idea. I hope we'll meet each other when we accomplish it a while.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Demeke Mekonnen for his part said the youth needs to take good lessons to build a country from forefathers and mothers, as well as to extend their support to finalize such nationwide projects.
ወጣቶች አባቶች ወንድሞች በዚህ ታሪካዊ አጋጣሚና በዚህ ዘመን
It is a historical day for dear youth, fathers and brothers to transcend the forefathers and mothers' role to build the nation. It is also critical to teach the dignity of the nation as well as to realize our bravery to go forward.
የጥበብ ሰው የአርት ሰው የሎሬት
After the ongoing reform in the country, various projects have been commencing in West Wallagga and efforts are needed to finalize these projects as per schedule, said State of Oromia Chief Shimallis Abdiisa.
Mootummaan jijjiiramaa keenya.
The ongoing reform initiated by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is commencing 17 road projects in this region. Today we are commencing the construction of Ambo-Gudar Road project.
The Ethiopian Construction Workers Corporation and contractors of Oromia Construction Corporation agreed to construct this road project within 5 years.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said that the construction of the Bako-Shambu Road is not a special favor to the people of Wallagga, but indeed what they deserve. Following completion of construction, the 60.2-kilometer Bako-Shambu asphalt road has been inaugurated. Emmanuel Jorge tells us more.
The Bako-Shambu asphalt road is inaugurated in presence of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the Deputy Prime Minister and other higher government officials. The 60.2-kilometer Bako-Shambu road will link the West Shawa, East Wallagga and Huro-Gudru Wallagga zones in the Oromia regional state. It was stated in the inauguration ceremony that completion of the road has massive socio-economic benefit to the local community. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said that local community in and around Wallagga deserves this asphalt road.
Wallaggi kan argachuu qabu dhabe.
The people of Wallagga have stayed for a long time under suppression without getting what they deserve. Wallagga has been giving electricity without having for itself. Roads were being built for others with debt gained from different countries, but the people of Wallagga have been just paying loans without benefiting. Wallagga has been generating income for the country in its coffee products, but its people do not have pure water supply. Wallagga gave Ethiopia experts who gave significant contribution to the country. What we do for the people of Wallagga is not to favor them different from others, but it is because they deserve it. Everyone should understand this.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Deputy Prime Minister Dammaqaa Mokonnin said that the roads that are under construction accelerate the economic growth of the country by connecting peoples from different areas.
The construction of this road is not just to come here and return, but it is to connect Gojam, Buri and Nakamt with the whole Horom. Beyond that, we are in a time in which we have to build roads that connects us with others and will help us to transform our socio-economic growth and bestow it for the coming generation.
The Prime Minister laid a cornerstone of the Shambu-Agamsa asphalt road construction in the occasion. The 95-kilometer-long Shambu-Agamsa road requires over 2 billion birr for the construction. Chief of the Oromia Regional State Shimelis Abdisa said that there are other roads under construction in the area costing around 4 billion birr.
Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Dammaqaa Mokonnin, together with senior officials from both Ethiopia and Turkey, have jointly inaugurated the newly built Ethiopian Embassy building in Ankara. Dammaqaa highlighted the inauguration of the embassy is a great stride to move forward relations of the two sides to a better step. Listen to him.
It gives me great pleasure to be here with you today in the historic city of Ankara for the inauguration of the new Ethiopian Embassy building. The construction of this embassy signifies the long-standing relationship between Ethiopia and Turkey and symbolizes a great accomplishment for both countries. Therefore, I thank all those who participated and took part in its successful completion. The embassy will not have the sole purpose of being a place where diplomats come to work. Rather, it will also be a place where the two countries promote their culture and draw their people closer. It is my hope that the embassy will serve as a good step forward towards enhancing our bilateral relations. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia and Turkey enjoy an all-weather friendship and all-around cooperation. The growth momentum of the Ethio-Turkey strategic partnership has strengthened the relationship of the two countries and brought them closer. Over the years, the two governments have exchanged numerous high-level visits that produced very important outcomes which helped to expedite the development of joint cooperation on both sides. Development of joint cooperation, Ethiopia is ready to deepen the all-round cooperation with Turkey. We would like to work more closely with Turkey to overcome and alleviate poverty in Ethiopia.
Welcome back. The victory of Adwa is supposed to be one of the decisive historic curves that broke the divide and rule rhetoric by European imperialists. The unimaginable black history over a well-trained white army was also the major factor to shock European imperialists and force them to think of other diplomatic alternatives. Solomon Danyi tells us more.
The name Adwa was barely known, or at least not as popular as it is now some 125 years back. But the vivid history that took place under the steep mountains of Adwa makes the name unforgettable for both white colonialists and black people who endured coercion for long. Ethiopian black soldiers and patriots bravely fought with a well-trained white Italian army at one of the most dramatic battles, with the black heroes defeating the invaders. The victory of Ethiopians at the Battle of Adwa ultimately altered the course of the history of black people and forced white imperialists to think differently about the black race.
ዲሲፕሊን እንደሆነ የሰለጠነን የነጭ አርሚ አሸንፎ Ethiopians defeated a well-trained and disciplined Italian army at the Battle of Adwa. The victory was not simply a victory of battlefield, it was more than that. Our forefathers made Italians believe that the only way to forge a relationship with Ethiopia was through a diplomatic means. It was also a real turning point for all black people around the globe to think that a black army can defeat a white army. That triggers many to stand for their freedom and liberty.
Every historian who got the chance to study black history usually comes to a conclusion that the victory of Adwa was the main juncture for whites and blacks to start a new form of relationship apart from compulsion.
The victory reinvigorated humanity to flourish. It asserted equality. Whites were made to believe that forging a diplomatic relationship with Ethiopia was the new normal. Ethiopia was the first African country that a European nation was interested into having an embassy. Italy itself became the first to open its embassy in Addis Ababa. Then Germany, Britain, France, and America followed suit.
The victory was also a remedy of divide and rule rhetoric that imperialists were implementing in their colonies to easily maneuver with their nefarious administrations.
Divide and rule strategy ለመጠቀም disaffected ናቸው ያሏቸውን የሙስሊሙን ማህበረሰብ አፒዝ ለማድረግ ሙከራ አደረጉ።
Demented by the Adwa victory, Italians returned back to Ethiopia minutes later with their evil divide and rule strategy. They tried to create hostility between ethnic lines and religious division. They tirelessly worked on cajoling Muslims and ethnic Oromos to cooperate with them. But it was brave Oromo fighters like Rasuduki and Jagama Kelo who resisted their rule in Central Shoa. The divide and rule strategy worked in other African nations, but it was impossible here in Ethiopia.
Adwa remains the major black victory over a white army in the history of mankind.
The victory of Adwa refuted the wrong narrative circulated by Europeans that Africa was not civilized. This remark was made by the assistant professor and lecturer, Dr. Jill Humphreys. The American scholar also says the victory of Adwa gave the lesson for the black people of the whole world, the fact that they are capable of winning back their freedom that Western colonizers forcefully took. Shifara Ulako reports.
The African-American assistant professor, educator, and lecturer has spent some time with ETV English, outlining the major victories the Battle of Adwa brought for Africa and the black diaspora across the globe. She says the fact that Ethiopia has never been colonized by the Westerns galvanized other African friends to fight for their freedoms.
Ethiopia, as you already know, was never formally colonized by a European country. May have been occupied for a very brief period of time, a few years, but never formally colonized. What does that mean psychologically for Africa, but also for the, I think, global black world and diaspora? Is that there is an ability to fend off, right, aggression, to maintain one's cultural values and roots. I want to say, walking around Ethiopia, I see cultural practices that have been retained for thousands of years, right? Precisely because they were not colonized, precisely your country was not colonized. Young people may not understand that or realize that. And so psychologically that plays a great role for those of us who cannot trace our ancestry because of enslavement, right? But can look to an African country and say, here's a country that not only fended off and European powers, but also became the center of Pan-Africanism, because all of the major institutions, Pan-African institutions that were established under Emperor Haile Selassie, like the Organization of African Unity, which is now the African Union, are incredible important institutions for Africans to decide how they want to see the future and develop the future across every political area, policy area. That's important.
She also argues that Ethiopia, being the source of mankind, also refuted the erroneous narratives that Africa was not developed.
Ethiopia, being an African country, right, at that time in 1896 or the late 1890s, Africa was perceived as not as advanced as Europe. So that's the first misnomer, given that this is the humanity, or the cradle of civilization. And so for an African country or kingdom to be able to amass, as I was reading, over 100 and something thousand soldiers, not both men and women. I read that Empress Taitu, thank you, played an important role, as well as other women, right, that was able to mobilize throughout Ethiopia to fight this invasion. And so I think, of course, for Ethiopians, it's a way to establish national identity, right, around a common cause, regardless of one's ethnic identity. And then I think for Africa, of course, it's significant because during this period, this is the period of European colonization. The transatlantic slave trade began around the 1500s, 1600s. But this is another period where European countries, right, are asserting themselves and physically control of African countries.
She has advised Ethiopians to take the initiative to properly promote this landslide victory to the whole world in light of the various battles they have waged for their freedoms.